Ladies and gentlemen, World's Wi-Fi Jufi year. It's a recent B10 on for your life. This is not the year to survive. It's the year to Rivian, to Ryan Invent, to Rawayor Mayandi. This is the year your old geek story dies and the MBOU is born. Are you ready? Cue the audience say, yes! There comes a moment in every person's life. Ask a hard question. Is the life I'm living right now the real, or is it just a pattern I've been repeating? Most people are not living. They're running programs, patterns, old blueprints passed down from their pair failures, their fear. But let me tell you something powerful. You were not born with limits. You were taught them. And if they were taught, they can be unused. See, a blueprint is just a design. It's a set of instructions that says, this is how your life is supposed to go. And for most, we've been carrying a blueprint that someone else drew. Maybe it was shaped by a parent maybe it came from teachers who said you weren't smart enough. Maybe it came from rejection, heartbreak, or failure. Over time, those moments added bricks to wall of your potential. And now here you are in 2025, living inside that box, wondering why your life feels stuck. But what if I told you the reason not you're stuck, but broken, you've outgrown the blueprint you're living by? Let's get real. Every day you wake up, maybe there's a script playing in your head. I'm not good with money. I can't love. I can't change now. It's too late. I always mess the old truths. They're just recycled thoughts. And here's the secret: in what you repeat, you begin to believe. And what you believe, you begin alive. So Mia's gave you that blueprint. Was it designed by the highest version of yourself? Or by the scared version? Was it shaped by a vision or a memory? Remember, it means this. It's time to stop living in reaction to the past and start creating from a vision of the future. I want you to imagine a person who keeps trying to burn life using outdated tools, like someone trying to download today's apps on a 2005 flip phone. No matter how hard they try, the system still happens when you try to build a new life with an old mindset. You freeze. You get frustrated, not because you're incapable, but hint for growth. The operating system is outdated. It's time for a software upgrade. Let me give you a simple real-life example. There's a man who grew payday. He saw his parents struggle to pay bills. He learned that money is always hard to get, that you have to suffer to survive, that rich peas are dishonest. Fast forward 20 years, he's trying to business. But guess what? Deep down, his blueprint still says money is business. Even though he wants to grow, his internal blueprint blocks him. He self-sabotages. He procrastinates. He undercharges. He plays small. Why? Because of running the show. Until one day he wakes up and says, I'm not going to carry this blueprint anymore. My parents did the best they could, but there's not have to be my story. He reads new books, listens to new voices, surrounds himself with people who think differently. He doesn't just hope for change. He rewires it. He programs his belief system. And slowly but surely, his life starts to align with a new design, a blueprint based on abundance, contribution, and growth. And that's burning the old blueprint. Isn't motivational talk. It's a survival skill in 2025. The world has changed. The economy has shifted. Technology has rewritten everything. If you're still living by a blueprint, then 2000 or by 8-year-old self who got left in school, you're not living, you're repeating. And you can't create a next level life. Here's the truth. You don't need to be fixed. You need to be updated. You don't need to start over. You need to start fresh with a different mindset. Burn the lies. Burn the excuses. Burn the guilt. Burn the story that says, I'm just not the kind of person who. That's who you were told you were. You're the architect of your life. You get to choose what you build. Before you can construct the new, you must first demolish the old. Tear down the wall that says you can't. Shatter the glass ceiling that says this. Reclaim your identity. Rewire your patterns. Reignite your power. 2025 is not waiting. The question is, will you show up as the version repeating or the one who's rebuilding? Decide today, no more living by accident. No more playing small. No more living someone else's story. Burn the fire and build something that makes you proud to wake up every single morning. Because the only thing standing between could be is the courage to start again. Burn it all. And begin. There's a truth that hits hard but transforms you. Accept it. You don't get what you want. You get what you're willing to tolerate. You get your standards. Not your dreams, not your intentions. Guards are low. Your results will follow. If your standards are high, your life will rise to meet them. Think about it. In every area of your life, your body, your career, relationships, your finances, you are living exactly what you've settled for. Not what you're capable of, but what you're sink in. People talk all the time about goals. I want to get in shape. I want to make real love. But listen closely, a goal is a wish. A standard is a requirement. A goal is something you'd like. A standard demands when you raise your standards, you change the rules for how you live. You draw a line in the sand and say, this is the minimum I will accept the format from my life. And once you do that, the game changes. Let me give you a real world example. Picture two people. Both say they want to be fit. One wakes up a workout if I feel like it. The other says, I don't miss workouts, no matter what. One is hoping. The other has a standard. Now fast forward, who's feeling strong, who's changed their identity, not the one with the goal, the one with the standard. This isn't just about discipline, because when you raise your standards, you shift how you see yourself. You go from saying, I want to eat healthier, I'm out of there. From I should save more money, I don't live paycheck to paycheck. I make my money work for me. I deserve love too. I deserve accept relationships that drain me or shrink me. And guess what happens when your identity changes? Your actions follow. Single. It's even closer to home. Imagine you walk into your kitchen and see a roach crawling on the counter. What do? You don't think about it. You don't go clean the area. You make sure it doesn't happen again. Why? Because that's your standard. You don't tolerate filth in your space. And if you're tolerating toxic relationships, low energy drama, excuses, procrastination, it's not because like somewhere along the way that acceptable. That became normal. That became part of your blueprint. But you can choose differently right now. You can say, I don't tolerate half-hearted effort. Margaret, I tolerate people who only show up when it's convenient for them. I don't tolerate being broke, unhealthy, or unhappy. Not because I know I'm capable of more. And here's where it gets real powerful. Once you raise your standards, life will test you. Oh yes, it's going, are you serious? Do you really mean it? That's when people come into your life and try to pull you back in the old patterns. That's the test. You decide to get serious about your frowns, invite you out for junk food and late night drinking. You decide to focus on your business, and distractions come flying from the better relationships and an old flame text. Hey stranger, these are not coincidences. These are tests. And how you respond to those tests will prove Handard is a line or just a suggestion. So how do you raise your standards in 25? You DCD. You draw the line. You commit without condition. Conditions. It's not about being consistent. It's about saying, this is who I am now. You start with thorough commitment. You follow through even when you don't feel like it. You show up, not because it's easy, but because it's raising your standards means telling the truth. It means looking in the mirror and admitting, I've been playing small. I've been tolerating too much. I've been flowering. And then flipping the switch. Because the moment you raise your standard, you start attracting a new quality piece, better opportunities, your energy changes, your confidence builds, you begin to expect more. And guess what begins to respond? People, that's a lie. You can change in a moment. All change starts with a decision. And that decision is this, I will no longer lie beneath Botano. A race starting now. So let me ask you, what's your real standard? What have you been tolerating in your life? Your health, your finances, your real finance. What excuses are you done believing? What rules are you rewriting? Because in 2025, nothing will change unless you change. Raise the bar for you. That's your job. And when you do it, when you finally raise your standards, you'll just rebuild your life. You reinvent yourself, so do it now. Set the bar so high that you don't see the person you're becoming. Because that version of you, that version is powerful. That version is unstoppable. And that version is waiting on the other side of your standards. There's a secret to transformation that over a book. Not because it's hidden, but because it's simple. And most people are so busy overcomplicavious. That secret is these. If you want to change your life, you have to change your state. Your mental, emotional, and physical state in any guy, fiends, what you do, how you do it, and what kind of results you'll get. Think about it. Ever had one of those mornings where you feel off? Maybe you didn't sleep well. Maybe the weather was gloomy. Maybe someone said something the night before at you, and suddenly your energy is low. You move slower. You hesitate. You snap at people. You doubt yourself. And the whole day feels heavy. Why? Because everything else followed. Now picture the opposite. You've had those days too. You wake up, the sun is shining. Your body feels good. Your mindset is should. You move with purpose. You smile more. You're decisive. That same to-do list feels like a challenge to burn. What changed? The circumstances might be exactly the state you were in, completely altered how you showed up. That's the power of state. And here's the most important part. You don't have to wait for your states to change it at any moment. That's personal power. Most people live in reaction to life. They let the outside world decide how the traffic ruins their mood. A text message throws off their day. A rejection kills their confidence. They think their emotions are just happening weather. But emotions aren't weather, they're signals. And you can change the signal when you change the frequency. Your state is a combination of your physiology and your language. You can shift any one of those three and immediately feel different. Let's break it down with something we are. You just got some bad news. Maybe you didn't get that job you really wanted. Your shoulders drop. Your breathing slows. Your inner voice starts whispering. You slump into the couch, open social media, and start scrolling through everyone is spiraling. Not because of the event itself, but because of the state you dropped into. The job rejection didn't defeat you, your response. But now imagine the same situation. You get the bad news, but instead of collapsing, you stand up. You move your body. You take 5 deep, intentional breaths. This doesn't define me. You put on music that lights you up. You go for a walk or hit the gym. Maybe that was your, and guess what? Your entire state begins to hopeful, from sluggish to strong, from rejection to redirection. That's not magic. That's mastery. Let's go even further. Ever watched them that just be at the biggest moment of their career? Maybe it's a gold medal race or a championship match. You don't see them slumped over, doubting themselves. No. You see them jumpingly talking to themselves with intensity. They're priming their state. Because they know if they step into that moment with week game even begins, you may not be on a sports field, but you're in the game of life. Every day, your state decides whether you lean and pull or whether you give up or go all in, whether you shrink or shine. So how do you use this in your daily life? You start by becoming aware of how you sure. Are your shoulders forward or backward? Notice your breath. Is it shallow or deep? Notice your focus. Are you obsessing over what's wrong? Catch yourself in low energy states and intervene. You don't need hours of therapy in that motion, because motion changes emotion. You can jump, dance, shout, walk, train, breathe. You can look in the mirror and speak to you like you hold a champion. You can create a ritual that brings you in peak state every morning before you start your day. Because if you don't program your mind, the world will program it for you. It's not about being fake. It's about not pretending to be positive. You're choosing to generate energy instead of waiting for it. You're taking responsibility for your internal without being at the mercy of the external. And the more you practice changing your state, the more you realize something incredible. You may feel stuck. You may look stuck, but you're just one decision, one breath, one movement away from momentum. Maybe that's freedom. So when fear shows up, doubt creeps in. Change your state when life hits you hard. Don't stay down. Get up, shake it off, move, breathe, roar if you have to. Step back into this bold, resilient, and unstoppable, because 2025 doesn't care how you feel. It responds to how you show up. And how you show up depends entirely. You want to rebuild yourself this year. Then change your state and keep changing. Help but notice the force you become. Let's get something straight right now. Your mind, you're just a storage unit. It's not a dusty attic where thoughts sit around untouched. Your mind is a living, breathing factory, and every day it's for emotions that shape your reality. What you feed it determines what it builds, and what it builds becomes your life. That in your thoughts is the blueprint for your outcomes. So if you're not feeding your mind intentionally, it's running on leftovers, scraps of negativity and noise. In a world that's constantly trying to flood your headspace with garbage, you must become the guardian of your mind, not casually when it's convenient. Relentlessly. Think about it like this. If someone handed you a brand new sports tunes, you wouldn't just dump any random fuel into it. You choose the best. You keep it maintained. You protect it like it was gold. Now that it's worth more than any car, any house, any piece of tech you'll ever own. It's the engine that drives everything. Most people are feeding it junk food. We're living on mental fast food, quick hits of outrage on the news, endless scrolling on social media, clickbait headlines. People arguing over things that think zip, drama, fear. And we wonder why we feel anxious, overwhelmed, insecure, and drained. Let me ask you, would you eat spoiled food every day? Oh, it's not. Of course not. Yet people are consuming mental garbage daily and wondering why they can't think clearly, why their confidence is low, or why they're cut fear. If you want to rebuild yourself in 2025, you must take control of the input. Let's get practical. Imagine waking up and the first thing you have phone, you see bad news, a friend's vacation that makes you feel behind, and someone bragging about their success. Instantly, comparison, pressure, and anxiety start, brain, and it's not even 8 a.m. You've already let the world infect your mental software. Now flip that. Imagine starting your day with 10-minute one-cast from someone who inspires you. A chapter from a book that challenges your thinking. A motivational video. Prayer. Affirmations, visualization, and feeding your mind clarity, strength, vision, and energy. You're choosing what gets in. And because of that, you speak with more calmly. Why? Because your mental factory is now producing from premium fuel. It's not about avoiding reality. It's about creating a stronger version of Hality Ballader. Let's look at real life. Think about someone who's crushed their goals, transformed their body, built a thriving business, sure, or before they took the right action, they adopted the right mindset. And that didn't happen by accident. Maybe fed their mind on purpose. They fed their mind, edge, mentors, books, podcasts, people, and ideas that lifted them up and leveled them up. Their success was built from the inside out. It takes hours a day. It takes consistency. 10 focus minutes a day can do more for you. My hours have 3 as of random noise. That's your power. Your thoughts shape your identity, and your identity drives your behavior. When you set in your mind the thoughts of a confident, disciplined, focused, and powerful person, you start becoming that person. Now let's be clear. This isn't just about need to pretend everything is perfect. Feeding your mind means choosing truth over noise, clarity over confusion, and growth over gossip. It's saying, elevate my thinking, and then expand what I believe is possible. Here's a daily life metaphor. You don't wait to brush your teeth until you do it preventatively. Feeding your mind is the same. Wait until your life is falling apart. Physicalize it. Train it daily. Keep it strong, focused, and resilient so when life throws a punch, you don't crumble. You count. 2025, your competitive edge won't just be your title or your hustle. It will be your mental conditioning, your ability to stay calm when others panic, to stay focused when others get distracted, to stay optimistic when the world screams negativity. So what are you feeding your mind today? What are you letting? It's time to upgrade your input. Read books kinking. Watch content that lifts your soul. Surround yourself with people who speak vision and truth into you. Choose silence over noise, growth over entertainment, procrastination, because your mind is always listening, always absorbing, always building. Feed it like your life depends on it. Because you won't just change how you think. Will change who you become. You'll rebuild yourself, not from the outside and no storm. No storm, no setback, no opinion, no mistake will be strong enough to break what you built. There's a story you've been telling you, so it explains why things haven't worked out. You didn't go for it, why you gave up, why you held back. A story that, on the surface, might sound reasonable, but it's a story about your past. Maybe it's about what someone else did to you, what you didn't get. What went wrong? Maybe it's about how your role treated you, how life didn't play fair. Man, let's be honest, maybe that story is true. But let me ask you something powerful for you, or is it shrinking you? Because a harsh truth is this: no matter how true your story is, if it keeps you stuck, you've got to kill it. You can't rebuild life to 25, you're still living in the rubble of your excuses. You can't rise as a creator while clink vic vim. The victim story is seductive because it lets you off the hook. It makes the pain someone else's fault. It gives you a place to hide. But it also robs you your power. When you live in the victim story, you trade your potential for pity. You trade your vision for validation. You trade your future for a familiar identity and safe and scared. Let's bring this to real life. Think about a person who has lost a crisis. totally unfair, out of their control. The victim story says life is against me. Nothing ever works out. I can't trust people. Why bother trying, right? It feels justified. But while that person is telling the story, they're also telling themselves they have no agency. Now picture someone else in the exact same situation, same job loss, same setback. But this person says, okay, this hurts, but maybe it's a wake-up and I was meant for more. Maybe this is the sign I need to finally build that business. Finally chase that dream. Finally break free from a life that was situation. 2 different stories, 2 different lives. The power of the story you choose. You are not responsible for what happened, but for what you do with it. Pain is real. Trauma is real. But so is healing. So is growth. So is resilience. Maybe the people who rise aren't the ride. They're the ones who decide, this thing didn't break me, it built me. A story of what went wrong, and start telling the story of how they're going to make it right. Because here's the true thing, you can't rewrite your life, you stop repeating the same chapter. You can't build a new identity while vanity was based on your lowest moments. The victim story loves to whisper, you're not enough. You've messed up too many times, no one will wait for you, and if you're not careful, that voice becomes familiar. You start repeating it, believing it, living by it, until one day you wake up and you're even fighting for your future anymore. You're defending your pain. So what does it look like to kill the victim sues like radical ownership? It looks like saying, I don't control everything, but I control everything. It means calling out your excuses, catching your blame, refusing to keep rehearsing your limitations. It means standing in the mirror and sorry, I'm no longer available for the version of me that hides behind what happened. And it doesn't happen all at once. It happens in decisions, in habits, in the way you tell your story. Instead of, I always mess things up, you say, I'm learning to do better. Instead of, you say, my past, building strength from it. Instead of, no one believed in me, you say, now I believe in myself. And that's enough, not pretending the pain didn't happen. It's about refusing to let it define who you are now. Your pain is part of your journey, not to inspire people. You want to rebuild yourself in 25. Then be the person who turns pain into purpose. Be the one who didn't get handed the perfect deck, but still found a way to win. There's someone out there right now living an extraordinary life. Not because it was easy for them, but because it was a story that said they couldn't. And if they can do it, so can you. It starts with awareness. Then comes the decision. Then comes the action. Starts at the moments when catch up into the victim role. When you blame, you complain. When you wait for someone else to save you. That's your signal. That's your moment of truth. And in that, do I keep living the same story or do I start writing a new one? And when you write a new story, one where the driver, the creator, everything changes. Your energy shifts. Your mindset sharpens. Your standards rise. Maybe that was your multiply. Your results multiply because you got stronger. So say it with me now, loud and clear. No more victim story. No more blame. No more hiding. This is my time. This is my life. And I'm taking it back now. That's how you kill the stories, how you begin again. That's how you rebuild yourself in 2025. If your life feels out of control, let me brew fence with you. It's not your circumstance, it's your habits. Because at the end of the day, your habits don't just shape your story, they are the invisible architecture of your results. Your habits decide your energy, your focus, your health, your income, your mindset. Master them. Master your destiny. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they keep falling inch to solving their potential. And here's the kicker, they don't even realize they're doing it. Why? Because habits are automatic. They're unconscious. They're the things you repeat so you don't even notice anymore. Think about your morning. Do you wake up and grab your phone right away, scroll social media, hit snooze 3-teen? Or do you have a ritual that gets your mind sharp, your body moving, and your energy aligned? That tiny set of decisions in the first 30 days might seem small, but they're either building momentum or stealing it. Let's go deeper. If someone tells me they're overwhelmed, stressed, or unmotivated, I don't ask about their dreams. I ask about their habits. Because your future isn't hidden, it's hidden in your daily behavior. You say you want to break through in 2025. Then let me ask you, what are your habits that you truly expect from yourself? It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. Anyone can go hard for a week. Real change happens when you commit visible disciplines every single day. The gym sessions when no one's watching. The journaling when it feels pointless. The healthy meals when junk food screams. Focused hours of work without applause, recognition, or guarantees. That's the training ground of transformation. Here's a real life example. Let's say some write a book. They have a powerful story, tons of ideas, but every time they sit down to write, they wait for motivation. Days go by, then weeks. Then they say, but the truth is, discipline isn't something you have, it's something you build. If that person committed to write a single day, for a year they'd have a full manuscript by December. Not because of bursts of brilliance, because of habitual action, great dramatic moments. It's built in daily repetitions. You brush your teeth every day, not because it's exciting, because you value your hygiene. Now imagine your mind, your goals, your energy with the same level of habitual care. What if meditation, exercise, learning, reflection, and focus work was non-negotiable? Now imagine who you'd become. Now let's flip this. Look at destructive habits. Every time you say, just one more scroll, every time you say, I don't feel like it, you're not just delaying your goal. You're reinforcing a version of yourself that is more important than growth. And that's dangerous because habits don't just shape your schedule, they shape your self-image. Every time you follow through, you prove to yourself, I'm someone who follows through. Every time who foresee, I'm someone who gives up when it's hard. And the scary part, that identity begins to feel real. Here's the good news you rewrite. You hoard by choosing one powerful habit and committing it for the next 30 days. Not because it's trendy, not because someone told you to, but because becoming. And when you link your habits to your identity, your results explode. You don't go to the gym to get fit. You be the kind of person who takes care of their body. You don't read because it's trendy. You read the kind of person who feeds their mind. You don't show up early to work because you're the person who brings excellence to everything they do. That identity becomes magnetic. It becomes powerful, and it all starts with a habit. Let me tell you something you already know. 25 isn't going to be easier. It's going to be faster, louder, more distracting. The world's not going to slow down to that. So if you want to rebuild yourself this year, don't wait for more time, more money, or motivation. Master your habits, because they will either build life you want or burn it. And yes, it's going to feel boring sometimes, repetitive, hard. Success isn't about fireworks. It's your daily routine, and I'll show you your future. It's not fate. It's not luck. It's what you do over and over when no one's clapping yet. So overreaction to intention, from chaos to consistency, from dreaming to doing. Master your habits, and you will master your life, because that was the life you want is already yours. It's just hiding inside the habits you haven't built yet. Let's get something locked in right around. Your energy, your thinking, your expectations, even your standards, they are directly shaped by the environment you surround yourself with. If you're serious about rebuilding yourself in 2025, then this has to become your personal man. Why? Because your environment is not neutral. It's either lifting you up or it's pulling you down. It's either reinforcing who you want to be, you keep here to who you were. You can read every book, listen to every podcast, say all the affirmations you want, but back in an environment that's toxic, negative, or complacent, it will eventually choke your growth. Think about it like this hill. Maybe you can plant the most incredible seed with the DNA of greatness, but if you plant it in dry soil in a place with no sunlight, with no nourishment, it dies. Not because the seed was broken, but because it was wrong. You're that seed, full of power, full of possibility. But if you're constantly surrounded by people who doubt, criticize, complain, and settle, your inner fire will start to dim, not because you're weak, but because you're human. Let's look at everyday life. Think about your closest 5 people. Text the most. Share your thoughts with them. Now ask yourself, are they pushing you forward or holding you back? Do they challenge your excuses or ensure you or drain you? Be honest. Because your proximity is shaping your identity. If you're around people who talk about other people, if you're around people who blame the world for everything, maybe that's what mind's story. Guess what mindset your people who never strive for more? Guess your future starts to look like small, predictable, safe, But if you place yourself in rooms, take action, hold high standards, and celebrate growth, you start to stretch. You think differently, you move differently. You expect more from yourself. That's it. It pulls you up or it pulls you down, and it often happens without you even noticing. Let me give you a personal example. Let me give you a fitness journey. They're motivated, they've got their plan. But everyone around them lives for fast food, late nights, and laziness. Every tired or yes to a workout, their friends joke about it. You're obsessed. Live a little. Now compare that to someone in a group where working out is normal. Eating clean is celebrated. Progress is encouraged when they post a gym pipe with just not sarcasm. Same person, different environment. And you better believe the results will reflect that difference. Your environment is more powerful than outwits us. That's wiring. We are social creatures. We conform. We absorb. We mirror what we see. So if you're always around people whose mind starts shrinking to fit in. But here's the good news. You get to choose. You don't have to cut people off code. You don't honestly decide who gets the most access to your mind, your energy, your time. Not everyone deserves a front row seat from your mayor. You're meant to be part of your history, not your destiny. So how do you upgrade your environment? Start small. Start intentionally. Spend more time to places that challenge you. Find a mentor even if it's virtual. Join a community where growth is the norm. Spend less time with people who create. Read the books, watch the interviews, go to the events where your future self is already hanging out. It might feel lonely at first. That's okay. But what's lonelier? Being temporarily uncomfortable as you're pretending to be someone you've outgrown just to make others feel better. You are the average of your associates. Fact. If you want to level up your income, hang out with people who talk about business, money, investing, and value. Not just spending and surviving. Improve your mindset. Spend time with people who challenge your thinking, not just agree with your complaints. If you want better health, connect, not just convenience. Because success leaves clues and proximity puts you in position to collect them. This year, 2025, could be the most powerful shift of your life, but not if you try to do it alone. Not if you keep going back to the same environments expecting different results. You want change? Then get around people who breathe chun through fire and built something anyway. People who speak vision, not just memory. That energy is contagious. That momentum is real. That proximity to decision today, not tomorrow, not next week. Audit your circle, upgrade your environment, protect your energy. Maybe and position yourself around people where you're going, not just where you've been. Because when your environment rises, so do you. Proximity is power. Use it wisely and rebuild your life on that truth.